They say love is blind, and I was living proof. I had given Jackson my heart, my trust, and my everything. We were high school sweethearts meant to be. Or so I thought. Growing up in a rural farming community in the Midwest, everyone knew everyone. Jackson and I were the golden couple, destined for a life together. I remember the way he used to look at me, with eyes that made me feel like I was the only person in the world. He'd tell me I was beautiful, that he loved me more than anything. I would believe him, because I felt the same way. We'd drive down country roads, windows rolled down, music blasting, and I would feel alive. But over time, things started to change. He became obsessed with the gym lifestyle, spending hours at the gym, and I barely saw him. He'd come home, exhausted, and I would try to talk to him, but he'd just grunt and go to bed. I would think maybe he was just stressed with work, but deep down, I knew something was off. He started to become extremely protective of his phone. He'd always have it on him, even in the shower. I would joke about it, saying he was addicted, but he'd just laugh it off. I started to feel like I was walking on eggshells around him, never knowing when he'd blow up at me. The first red flag I ignored was when he stopped saying, "I love you" first. It started with little things, like I would say it, and he'd just smile and say, "You too." At first, I thought maybe he was just getting busy, but as time went on, I realized he hadn't said it in weeks. I would find myself saying it, hoping he'd respond, but he'd just stay silent. Another red flag was when he never wanted me to meet his coworkers. He'd say they were busy, or that it was not a good time, but I knew something was off. I would ask him about his day, and he'd change the subject. I started to feel like I was being shut out of his life. I loved him, and I did not want to believe that anything was wrong. So I pushed those thoughts aside and focused on our future. We were in the process of adopting a child, and I was excited to start our family. It was during this time that I started to notice other things. He'd come home smelling like perfume, but he'd tell me it was just his gym clothes. I would brush it off, thinking I was just being paranoid. But the smell lingered, and I could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. And then, one day, I found it. A women's sweater in our laundry, not mine. My heart sank. I felt like I would been punched in the gut. I tried to tell myself it was just a friend's, but deep down, I knew. I started to investigate, going through his phone records, and that's when I saw it. Texts to her, a woman named Emily. They'd been going on for months. My world started to crumble. I confronted him, but he just denied it. Told me I was being paranoid, that I was overreacting. But I knew what I saw. I knew what I felt. It was not until Emily reached out to me that I got the truth. She told me they'd been together for a year, that he'd proposed to her the same week he proposed to me. I felt like I would been living in a nightmare. I went to my divorce lawyer, a fierce woman who fought for everything I deserved. She told me I had a right to know the truth, that I did not deserve to be treated like this. As I sat in her office, I felt a mix of emotions: anger, sadness, betrayal, but also a sense of determination. I was going to get through this, and I was going to make him pay. My lawyer told me I had a right to my retirement savings, that he had no right to take that away from me. I felt a sense of relief, knowing I had someone in my corner. But I knew I had to confront him. I had to make him understand the pain he'd caused me. So I agreed to meet him at the local diner, in front of everyone we knew. As I walked in, I saw him sitting there, smirking like he always did. But I was not intimidated. I was angry, and I was ready. "Jackson," I said, my voice shaking with rage. "I know what you did. I know about Emily. I know you proposed to her the same week you proposed to me." He looked taken aback, but he did not deny it. He just sat there, smiling like a fool. "You have no right to be angry," he said. "You're just being paranoid." I laughed, a cold, hard laugh. "Paranoid?" I repeated. "You think I am paranoid? You lied to me, Jackson. You lied to me for a year. You used me, and you used her. You're a user, Jackson. And I am done." The diner fell silent, everyone staring at us. But I did not care. I was finally free, finally strong. I was taking back my power, and I was walking away. As I turned to leave, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. I was done with him, done with the pain. I was ready to start my new life, a life without Jackson. But as I walked out of that diner, I knew I had a long way to go. I had to heal, had to learn to trust again. But for now, I was just taking it one step at a time. I was taking back my life, and I was ready for whatever came next.